Good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to our University of Leicester School of Education online information chat. We are delighted to have you join us today as you explore the opportunities and programs available at the school. My colleagues and I are here to present our education offerings and assist you with any questions and inquiries that may arise regarding our programs, admission procedures, campus life, or distance learning experience. To begin, we will each introduce ourselves. I start with myself, and then I have a list of colleagues listed on the right-hand side of my screen. So I will call your name according to where your image is located. So my name is Wei Zhang, and I'm currently the Director of Education for the School of Education. I used to lead one campus-based and one distance learning programs in parallel, which I will present shortly. And can I now pass over to you to Nick to briefly introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Smith. I'm the coordinator of the campus-based MA TESOL and MA Applied Linguistics and TESOL.
Thank you, Nick. Farhat.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Farhat Sayeda, and I'm the program leader for International Postgraduate Certificate in Education.
Jenny.
Hi, I'm Jenny Bosworth. I'm the Director of Teacher Education, so I have an overview of the primary PGC course and the secondary PGC course.
And Jenny Camp, please.
Hello, everyone. I am a colleague who works on the MA Applied Linguistics and TESOL, both the campus-based and the DL programs that we run.
Thank you very much. And I realize that we have our prospective students or interested applicants who wish to introduce yourself. However, we do prepare a large amount of course information. Can I introduce you to briefly introduce yourself by typing the messages in the chat, probably indicating where you are from? That would be mostly appreciated. I'm sorry we didn't actually allow the time for doing a proper introduction, but nevertheless, but before passing the floor to my colleagues to present the programs they actually coordinate, I will briefly provide an overview of our University of Leicester and our School of Education in the next 3 slides. So first of all, I want to inform our interested applicants that the Teaching Excellence Framework, TEF 2023, run by the Office for Students, has awarded the University of Leicester an overall Gold rating. What does the overall TEF Gold mean for our students? I want to stress that this is the highest possible award, indicating outstanding performance in both students' experience and their outcomes. From the viewpoints of employers, the Gold rating also reflects the quality of the courses offered by the University of Leicester as an institution. The university is one of a small number nationally to achieve TEF Gold, alongside a top 30 research excellence performance measured by REF 2021. By saying REF, we actually meaning Research Excellence Framework. I'll leave you to read about Leicester University's outstanding position in World University rankings and the quality of our research outputs. The university overall is a comprehensive and research-intensive university. Not surprisingly, our institution has a research-inspired education strategy. So the School of Education position ourselves within the university as a research-inspired pedagogical centre, particularly to provide institutional support with pedagogical research for the university. we have translated research-inspired education strategies into more tangible actions so that it is understood and implemented by our students and staff. The School of Education has a clear vision for modernizing our curricula. We are also deeply committed to supporting our students and growing strategically in terms of our research and pedagogical offerings. Additionally, our school also demonstrates a strong civic attitudes. Many of you may be aware that there is a national teaching supply crisis. Our suite of international initial teacher education programs play a crucial role in addressing this crisis, with approximately 60 to 65% of our graduates from these programs choosing to teach in Leicester and Leicestershire schools. The remaining postgraduate taught programs have successfully developed a diverse cohort of international students, empowering them to become proficient education practitioners and leaders, contributing to initial teacher positions and educational leadership, educational practitioners worldwide in the places that they come from. So now I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Jenny Bosworth, to present to you our teacher training programs.
Hi everyone. Could you move the slides on for me, Wei? Excellent, thank you. So just to give you a bit of background around teacher training at the University of Leicester, we do we work with some colleagues and some partners in school. We do a secondary PGCE and a primary PGCE. So these two courses are based around the UK primary and secondary curriculum. So you would, if everything goes well on the course, you would come out with qualified teacher status, which is a recognised UK qualification, and it's also recognised across different settings across the world, internationally as well. The way that we have framed our teacher training is that alongside your teacher training, you also do a PGCE, so a postgraduate certificate in education. So alongside the time that you spend in school working with school colleagues and learning how to teach children and young people, you will also be working through different assignments at the university, which means that the expectation is that you will leave with your qualified teacher status and 90 master's credits towards a full master's. The course itself is a full-time campus-based year-long course. So even though you spend about 2/3 of your year in school, we class it as a campus-based course because all of the taught elements take place at university. We usually start around the beginning of September and we go on until the end of June. And that is the expectation is that you attend full time as a student. Every day is usually a sort of 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock expectation when you're in university, but when you're on school placement, that day is extended slightly. If you choose to do the primary PGCE, so that would encompass working with children who are as young as 5 to 11, and you would do 3 placements across the year, one in the autumn term, which is from September to December, and then one in the spring term, which we're currently in, and then one in the summer term, and those placements vary slightly in length. If you chose to do the secondary PGCE, which is around a particular subject area, you would do 2 school placements, which are slightly longer but span the same amount of time as a total. In the UK, everybody is assessed from a teaching point of view against the teacher standards. So as a trainee teacher, you will be assessed against the same criteria as an experienced teacher, but obviously that would be contextual around how long you'd been teaching for. But the teacher standards are the professional standards that we assess you against through our curriculum. You work with colleagues within university, so all of us who work on the PGCE courses have had experience, a long experience in our educational setting. So, for example, I'm the Director of Teacher Education, but I'm also the head of the primary PGCE course, and I've been a primary school teacher for 15 years before I came to work at the university. So I have a background in primary education, and my colleagues have also got a background either in primary education or in a secondary subject in that area as well. So you learn from tutors, and then you are in school learning from our expert colleagues within school as well. So what we do is we call it purposeful integration. So we make sure that what you learn about through university, you then take into school. If you could move it on, that would be great. Thank you, Wei. So the support that you can get, because the PGCE is very well known to be quite an intense year because of the full-time nature of it and the fact that you are moving between university and school. We use a virtual learning environment called Blackboard, where all of the taught materials are there, all of the links to support, everything that you would need, extra documentation, all of the particular policies and practices that we work with, both from a national educational point of view, but also from a local educational point of view. When you're in school, you have weekly meetings with the colleagues in school that we refer to as mentors, and they will have weekly meetings with you to assess your progress against those teacher standards. When you also have a personal tutor, so I'm a personal tutor for 4 students, and I go into school to visit them as well. So you get a support from in school and support from the university that carries on all the way through the year. If you need support in a particular curriculum area, so primary particularly, the curriculum is taught as such in that you need to have knowledge of 13 different subjects. And, you know, with the best will in the world, we can't all be experts in 13 different subjects. So there might be a particular one that you need a bit of support in, and we will happily provide that for you. And also, because we also work with academic assignments, we also provide support for academic writing as well. So while it is a challenging course, I believe it should be, because you have the impact that you have on children and young people when you go into teaching is huge. So I think, you know, we spend a lot of time making sure that you get very high quality teaching from us so that you can go and have a really positive impact on the children that you work with in school. Next one, please, Wei. So in terms of the learning outcomes for the PGCE course, you will obviously learn about the UK school system and how teaching works. It might be that some of you who are considering applying already have a teaching experience in different countries, but obviously coming to the UK, it's also about learning about the national curriculum that is taught here. You will learn about the different subject knowledge that you need as a primary teacher. As I said, you have 13 different subjects that you need to learn about. As a secondary teacher, you will get really in-depth knowledge about your own subject. What we really want is that we want our teachers to be reflective practitioners, because you will never stop learning. You will learn from everybody around you, and most importantly, you will learn from the children and the pupils that you teach in your career. So it's really important to consistently be reflecting on what you're doing and how to improve for their learning. We teach you about effective pedagogy, because we want to make sure that you not only know the subject that you're teaching, but you also know how to teach that subject well. Some of the assignments are based around research in the classroom, because we want to make sure that the curriculum, our curriculum that we've designed is a research-inspired curriculum, and we want to make sure that that goes on into the classroom, because really, you know, that idea of integrating the theoretical perspective and then putting it into practice in the classroom and then bringing that back and reflecting on how to improve your teaching is what we would like to do and what we believe our courses are designed to do. So thank you very much for listening. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have about teacher training in the UK, and I will hand back to Wei to go on to the next thing. Thank you, Wei.
Thank you, Jenny. And Nick, will you please take on?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name's Nick Smith. I mentioned earlier, and could you go to the next slide, please, Wei? So our programs are designed to equip you with the skills needed to be a better language teacher, or if you're not already language teaching, to help you get on the ladder of language teaching. And I won't go through all of the details on the slides, but you can see on the right a picture from one of our classes, which shows this is about practicing and reflecting on language teaching. And as Jenny just did, mentioned, we try to encourage students to be reflective practitioners, thinking about the best ways to be an effective teacher. So increasingly, we're incorporating practical elements on our programs, particularly on the program for new students. That's the new teachers. That's the MA TESOL program. Okay, next slide, please. So this and the next slide give you an overview of the key features of our programs. We've got 3 programs, 2 on campus and 1 distance learning. Perhaps people could just say in the chat or put a thumbs up if they're thinking of doing one of these 3 programs. So some key features, I'll just pick out some highlights. So our staff are research active, and your teaching will be informed by their research. And as I mentioned, we encourage you to be reflective in your own development as a language teacher. You have the option of taking our programs over part-time, in part-time mode. On the distance program, that's the default, but on campus, you can do it full-time or part-time. The last 2 features are the option on the campus programs to take 2 Cambridge accredited qualifications, the Cambridge Teaching Knowledge Test and the Cambridge CELTA qualification, which are both practically oriented and complement your academic studies very well. And the TKT is fully funded through the master's program. The CELTA qualification, you get a 50% discount if you take it. Okay, next slide. So yes, the TESOL program offers opportunities for observing and doing some practical language teaching sessions. It also offers an alternative to the research-based dissertation. So everybody's doing a dissertation of some kind, but you can do a professional inquiry dissertation, which is more around your teaching development if you take the MA TESOL program. What else can I highlight here? If you're doing the applied linguistics program, we emphasize particularly skills in analyzing language in social contexts, such as genre and discourse analysis and social linguistics. And on the distance program, we have extensive online materials developed in a collaborative way and very interactively so that you can have peer support as you proceed along the journey of the distance program. Okay, next slide, please. So just to highlight the structure of the programs, there are 3 30-credit modules on the MA TESOL. You can see them here. The third one, Practicing, Reflecting, Communicative Language Teaching, is the practical one I was highlighting earlier. And then for your project, your dissertation, you can choose either the traditional one or the, as I mentioned, the professional inquiry version, which is built more around your teaching development. Okay, next slide, please. On the Applied Linguistics and TESOL program, we have the same modules, except the third one is called Analyzing Language in Social Contexts, very much based on analyzing authentic language data in all kinds of types of text and helping you to understand them. And that should also equip you to be better able to explain language use in context to students. Okay, next slide, please. You also take 2 option modules. Each of them is 15 credits, and we bunch them into 2 groups. So the first 3 you do earlier. You choose one of these 3 earlier, and then the second group you choose one of these 3 at a later stage. And if you're not sure what any of them involve, feel free to ask at the end. Next slide, please. Yes, employability. Not all of our graduates, but very many of our graduates go on to language teaching related professions. If they're already working in such a position, they often go on to higher positions. It could include management positions. It could be in a business, could be in a school or university. And also, if you're thinking of it, it's quite often a lot of our former students go on to do doctoral study, that's a PhD, often building on the kinds of things they've been learning about in their MA studies with us. Okay, that's a whirlwind tour, but please feel free to ask questions at the end, and I'll be very happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Hi everyone again, and I'm going to pick up the two sister programs, MA International Education, both campus-based and distance learning programs. You will notice that I've listed my colleagues program directors. So I'm presenting this on behalf of them as they are committed to other teaching sessions. So both campus-based and distance learning MA International Education program aims to achieve this many purposes. Namely, so you'll see that you'll be exposed to a wide range of contemporary educational issues in the international context, including those topical issues in your own context. And you will also be taught relevant theories and practices in teaching and learning. And other than that, there will also be opportunities for you to critically reflect on educational policies that are shaped and negotiated to inform the practices, teaching and learning practices. The final two bullet point covers the research skills. So you will have the opportunity to develop research skills by attending seminars, webinars, by practicing small-scale research projects, either independently or with a group of peers from the campus-based group. And then the research skills you have acquired throughout the study period will prepare you for more advanced level of research. For instance, that at doctoral level, if you consider pursuing a higher level study. Both international education programs offers the structures below. So we have 3 core modules. 2 of them are 30 credits, and the final dissertation research project actually carries 60 credits. So the first 2 core modules are actually delivered during this, the autumn term. Dissertation research project won't start until the summer term. In between is the spring term. So the spring term, you will have the option of choosing from innovation to reform in education, leadership in education, and pedagogy. And this is for the campus-based program. For those who are pursuing a distance learning program, you do have 2 additional options to choose from, namely inclusion and special education needs and learning technologies. The campus-based MA International provisions, we're showing you a couple of images demonstrating how students are actually working as a group. One, the top one is showing their independent studies, and then the bottom one's showing that they work closely with a colleague from English language teaching unit for some preparatory work. So you'll see, I'll leave you to read through the rich opportunities for them to expose themselves either to blended working approach or self-guided study, group working, and the opportunities for them to develop and apply their research skills through group project or independent personal dissertation project. The campus-based MAIE programs are also presenting you with opportunities about practice teaching, experiential components by working with local schools, paying visits to local schools. You also receive bespoke support from colleagues from institutions like ELTU, from library, and from other central university services. students also lead their own regular student forum events to develop public speaking skills, to develop presentation skills, anything that you think will facilitate your employability skills. There are also intercultural social events to celebrate cultural diversity. Moving to distance learning, MA International Education provision, most of the programs are actually provided via our virtual learning environment, which is Blackboard Ultra in this case. You will be presented guided learning activities, you will have regular webinars, you will also be assigned a personal tutor to provide you with regular tutorials and high quality feedback for the duration of the course. You won't lose the opportunity to interact with your peers because according to the course design, you will have a variety of activities designed for you to engage with your peers. And in terms of the workload, which you may be interested to know at this point, so we are considering about encouraging you to devote 14 hours a week to the reading, learning and teaching and study activities. Here are the advantages of learning at a distance. So it's a part-time learning mode, offers you huge flexibility, supported by experienced tutors and an e-learning environment. And here is an image of the graduation that we have taken on the graduation day. So our graduates largely go on to work in a wide range of educational roles and settings, such as teaching, administration, international student recruitment, international schools, NGOs, and also there are a small number of our students who actually moved to pursue a higher degree at PhD level. My colleague Fahad will go on to present International Postgraduate Certificate in Education. Fahad, over to you, please.
Thank you, Wei. So hello, everyone. So I'm going to tell you about the International Postgraduate Certificate in Education, which is also known as IPGCE. It's a part-time distant learning program which is delivered online, and it's specially designed for teachers who are working at different educational settings anywhere in the world. So the aims of this program, and after attending this program, teachers who complete this program will have developed knowledge about pedagogic theory and its practical application in the classroom. They develop pedagogical skills at various educational levels. So our students are teachers at primary level, secondary level, early education, or any other level in their own country. So teaching a different range of students. Upon completion, teachers will show evidence of being a reflective and effective classroom practitioners. They also develop research skills, so which can be applied to their own educational settings in teaching, and they will be able to conduct a school-based studies, focusing on the evaluation of teaching, learning, or assessment. Can we go to the next slide, please, Wei? Right, so the IPGCE program, it comprises of 2 modules. So the first one is critical reflection on classroom practice. So this is a 30-credit module, and it runs from October till February. So in this module, we basically focus on how people learn and relevant pedagogy in different age groups. And the second module is basically a small-scale classroom project where the students use a range of research approaches and methods to investigate any aspect of learning or teaching in their own classroom setting, or in their own context, anything which they are interested in, with an aim to improve an approach or propose a potential solution. So each module is 30 credits. Next slide, please. So as I said, it's a part-time distant learning program, and all the content is delivered online. So this allows the teachers to study in their own time and space. So you can organize whether you want to, study over the weekend, or you allocate a couple of hours every day. So it's up to the students. They can plan their own timetable. And basically the purpose is to allow the teachers to enhance their pedagogic knowledge without having to take a study leave or without having to have a break in their career. Also, it enables you to apply new knowledge that you're learning in the course. You can directly apply it in your teaching. All our learning resources are delivered online, and our virtual learning environment, Blackboard, is accessible anywhere in the world. So no matter where you are, our current students are from different parts of the world, you can take this program and you can study in your own time. We expect our students to spend on average 14 hours every week. So this includes the guided learning activities that we assign every week, your own study that you do, reading, preparing the assignments, spending time on discussion boards. So everything included. There's an expectation of about 14 hours every week. So in terms of module content, the first module, the topics that we focus on are reflective practice. Then we spend a few weeks on nature of learning and teaching, or pedagogy. We also look at different curriculum designs from across the world, and we look at assessment, different criteria. Assessment for learning, we focus a lot on that formative assessment. Plus we have 2 weeks on technology, which is using teaching, learning, and assessment, and how technology and pedagogy are linked. In the second module, as I said, it's based on a classroom research project. So we focus on approaches to practitioner research. We talk about research ethics, how the students, we help the students, support the students to develop their own research project. So they collect data, they analyze the data, and they write a research report. So in terms of the weekly structure, every week we assign some guided learning activities for the students, and the activities are organized in these 4 kind of elements. So we have a 4-part lesson plan. So it's connect, activate, demonstrate, and consolidate. So this provides an opportunity for the students to connect their prior learning and past experiences, and they can reflect on their own teaching. So in connect activities, they sometimes have to watch some video clips, they have to do some reading, so some kind of activity is given. The next is activate, so we help them develop new learning, make a connection with their prior learning, and develop some new understanding about the content. In demonstrate, they have to show their own developing understanding about the topic, and sometimes they are asked to write a paragraph or a blog, something. And finally, we have something called consolidate. So in this part, the students kind of consolidate their learning, the topic which they have explored. They write something, they write a larger paragraph, or a small kind of blog or some post which they can put on discussion board also. So it's basically to synthesize what they have learned. So a lot of support is offered to the students. So the virtual learning environment called Blackboard, we have all the resources available to the students. As I said, the learning activities are assigned every week. Plus we have other resources. We have access to the library. We also have regular webinars, which are interactive sessions, which are done synchronous. So it's face-to-face online. So students participate in these sessions, in these webinars. We also have personal tutors who offer tutorials and feedback for the duration of the course. So every student is assigned a personal tutor, and they support them in their learning throughout the program, and they also give support and feedback when they are preparing their assignments. We also have a discussion forum, which is for all the students. from across the world. So you can, every week there is a new topic which the students have to discuss, which are related to the course content, which the students are given every week. And the students can share their own experiences and have a discussion on the discussion forum. So they can discuss their, like, anything which they are doing in the class, any new pedagogy, any intervention which they're doing with their students, and they can discuss it with other students from different parts of the world. All the students have access to the David Wilson Library, which has a huge number of e-books, e-journals, and all the other resources, and the students can access them. And the students also have support and guidance from the English language and teaching unit. Next slide, please. In terms of employability, so upon completion of the course, many of our graduates go on to work in international schools. And it is very popular. This course is popular among students who wish to work in international schools in different parts of the world. Some of our students can also move on to study on a master's course in Leicester or anywhere else. If they're studying for a master's course at Leicester, they're also given APL, which is accreditation of prior learning. So the first 2 modules which they have done, they can claim credits for them and move on to study for a master's without doing these two modules. Right, that's a brief introduction of the IPGC, and if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Fahad. Sorry, everyone. Now I'm going to resume with the MSc Educational Leadership Program. The program director is Dr. Joan Woodhouse. She's actually delivering a webinar at the moment. So again, I'm presenting the program on her behalf. This program is a part-time distance learning program. The duration of the program is between 2 to 4 years. So this program is designed for serving and experienced teachers aspiring to leadership positions. We have over 10 years of running this program. So according to our experience, our student population tend to be typically middle or senior leaders in educational institutions worldwide. So this is characterized as an online structured program scaffolding students' engagement with contemporary series of educational leadership, critical reflections on leadership practices, and students will also be introduced and practiced research methods, methodology, design, and largely focusing on practitioner research. Our students will be supported by a wealth of webinars, online activities, and one-to-one support from personal tutors. In terms of the program structure, this is much of a linear course. So this means you have to, before starting the next module, you have to successfully complete the previous module. As you can see, the entire program actually comprises 5 modules. The first 4 modules each carry 30 credits. Last of teaching duration is around 4 months. In between one and 2 modules, students tend to get 1 month's break. And the final module is a dissertation module, which normally takes 6 months, brings the whole course duration to 2 years. For students who may encounter for instance, workload issues or family issues, they can apply for mitigating circumstances or suspension of their study, which may tend to prolong their studies to a maximum of 4 years. So I'm giving you an example about what each of the module composed of. So for instance, the first module entitled Educational Leadership, Learning and Change the module actually composed of 5 work packages. Each work packages last for 2 weeks, and you will also have self-guided study times in between the work modules, making everything lasting for 4 months, 16 weeks. So the first module focuses on theories of educational leadership, teacher leadership, leadership for learning, learning organization, and practitioner inquiries. And what I want to add is we are aware that for postgraduate taught programs, they often suffer from limited spaces for educational research inputs. So one of the unique selling points of this program is your tutors try to integrate research methods inputs into each substantive module teaching. And as you can see, here are a range of tasks and activities offered by this program. And in terms of we call it digital learning environment instead of virtual learning environment, because for this program, we're relying on a combination of digital support, technical support from both Blackboard Ultra and Microsoft Teams, as you can see. However, we understand that students and staff always welcome one platform, so we managed to integrate Blackboard Ultra into this digital learning platform of Microsoft Teams. So you actually take advantage of all the benefits of 2 different platforms. So in order to develop our students to compose their end of module assignment, we have at different points, I would say that for each work packages, you are asked to keep a research journal. So in total, for one module, you will have 5 research journal entries. And the purpose of introducing research journal is to help you develop your end of module assignments bit by bit. We introduce OneNote class notebook, which is also a function of Microsoft Teams as a place for you to keep your research journal centrally. And I want to share, with previous students' permission and tutors' permission, I want to share an example about the research journal and how students actually engage in that. So as you can see, that the first 2 lines are the task of the research journal, and the dark blue bits are the students' inputs, and the italicized bits are tutors' formative feedback. So the tutors and then students can actually access this on one page. We are aware of the workload and also the work-life balance of our students. So therefore, for the MSc Educational Leadership, we introduce 1 assessment point per module. So students are normally required to produce 5,000 words at the end of each module. And for dissertation, and similar to the other programs we have presented, students are required to produce around 15,000 words dissertation report. In terms of the employability, and I'm quite happy to share that most of our graduates have gained promotion either in their existing workplace or moved to other education institutions for more senior posts. And one of our students very recently graduated from the program kindly produced a video to share her master's journey. And this is a very rare social gatherings in one of the cohort that we tend to recruit a large group of Maltese students. One of our associate tutors actually went there to have an informal celebration of their success. And this is, again, in the platform, a place for students to provide their module feedback. And on the same place, we actually put together a response to show how seriously we take students' feedback. And we close the loop of students' feedback in order to improve the quality of our provision. And finally, and I'm also presenting a final education provision. And this is, again, a part-time distance learning program, MA in education, for my colleague. So this is a master's education program. This is a 3-year-long program. So the course structure is as below. So largely we offer 1 module per semester. And like the IPGCE and many of the other distance learning programs, we do take into consideration about previous accrued credits from other programs or other qualifications, which may shorten the study period from 3 years to 2 years or even 18 months, which is a minimum amount of a study period. For our alumni, we do offer a discount of 20%. If you would like to know more program informations, here are the contacts listed. I believe that we have completed all our education provisions. Do you have any questions? I understand that my colleagues have managed to address some in the chat areas. If you have any questions, please put your hands up and ask, and we are very happy to address them. Oh, I think we have a question. What is the difference between IPGC and Masters in Education? Fahad, can I first hand over to you to address? And then colleagues, if you have anything to add, please feel free to do so after Fahad's answer.
Right, so thank you for your question. IPGCE has only 2 modules, which I showed earlier, but master's program has 4 modules and a dissertation. So if you study for an IPGCE, you can progress to study for a master's, and the 2 modules that you've already completed in IPGCE, you don't need to do those again, and you can continue with module 3 and 4 and then move on to do a dissertation.
Thank you very much, Fahad. And I believe if you successfully finish an IPGCE program, you can also consider the other master's programs. And again, the credit you have accumulated will be taken into consideration. So you don't have to start from the scratch. There is another question. For the distance learning courses, are there any virtual meetings scheduled for students so that we can interact more with one another, especially with the professors? And how are they organized? That's a good question. So if I can make a start, and then Fahad, please, and Nick, please feel free to add. So I'm talking from the MAIE, MA International Education, and MSc Educational Leadership point of view. Those programs I used to be involved with. So the answer is a positive one. I'll take MSc Educational Leadership, for example. For each module, students are having the opportunities they are entitled to 2 90-minute webinars. So these are formalized webinars. For the dissertation module, which is a 60 credit, more significant in terms of the inputs, students are entitled to 4 one-hour webinars. Again, these are formalized meetings, virtual meetings, and every single meetings are recorded. And I believe for MA International Education program, similar arrangements are made. For the MSc programs, we also just mentioned about the class notebook. For class notebook, students use the private space to keep their research diaries, research journals. And there is also a collaboration space. This is a place where students often make very good use of to arrange their group meetings. For instance, very likely they will arrange a meeting inviting one tutors to attend prior to the assessment. So they can actually plan this together, share concerns, and encourage each other. So I believe for the other programs, they have organized slightly differently for a pedagogical reason. So can I pass over to my colleagues to share your experience?
Yeah, I can tell you about the TESOL and Applied Linguistics. We have, for the distance programs, we have at least 2 webinars per module. In some cases, it's 3. And I think students particularly value the webinars because it can be quite lonely studying an online course. And the webinars are a great opportunity to come together to share your ideas, your concerns and questions. And it really is a wonderful opportunity for staff too, to meet the students and see them. Okay, it's virtually, but still you're seeing them live and synchronously. And it's a really great opportunity to intensify that connection with students.
Well, for the IPGC program, we have 5 90-minute webinar for each module. So over a period of 1 year, like over the course, we have 10 webinars. So the webinars, like the students attend, they are interactive, and this participation from the students. So in our course, also the students really enjoy the webinars. Also, like there are personal tutors which are assigned. So the students have communication with them over Teams. You can have tutorials on Teams with your personal tutors, and you can discuss your assignments, you can discuss your learning. Plus, there is discussion board where students can interact with each other, but that's mostly like done through writing. It's asynchronous. So these are the interactive activities on IPGCE course.
Thank you, Nick and Fahad. And I'm looking into the chat area. There is one question from Senna. From undergraduate, is it possible to jump straight into an IPGCE course or Masters in Education course? Fahad, before passing over to you, I just want to add that Masters in Education course, if I recall that correctly, this does require teaching experience. So the answer to your question, Senna, in terms of Masters in Education course, it's a no. However, if you are considering MA International Education Distance Learning Masters course, the answer is yes. It does not require any prior teaching experience. Fahad, over to you about the IPGCE.
Thank you, Wei. Yes, for the IPGCE course, you need to have access to an educational setting. So you don't need to be working full-time, even if you're working part-time, but you have access to an educational setting, either as a teacher or as a teaching assistant, or even like as a laboratory assistant. Because if you remember, the second module of IPGCE is based on a classroom research project. So for that, you need to have access to an educational setting. So you need to be working in a school or like, primary, secondary, early education, any type of educational setting, either full-time or part-time.
Thank you, Fahad. And there is another question. Can the Educational Leadership MSc be done on campus? At this moment, we don't have a campus-based version of MSc, but the whole school is seriously considering that. Should we have enough requests from our applicants? So are there teaching and research fellowships available for graduate students? Our PGR tutor isn't here today, but I believe that we can apply for a graduate teaching assistance from the graduate students. Each year, we often bid for a graduate teaching assistant, and that PGR student, postgraduate research students, tend to facilitate with campus-based teaching. That's my observations. And thank you, Jenny, for providing more information in relation to students' request. So there is another one from Eugene saying, so when is the international education MA starting? If you are asking for campus-based program, the program is often starting late September, beginning of October. And if you are asking for a distance learning program, we do offer 2 entry points. One is in April, and then the other one follows the mainstream starting point. Yes, again, end of September, beginning of October. It just varies each year according to the university's calendar. Any more questions? And I've seen Felix actually put your hand up. Felix.
Hi guys. Thank you. This is Felix from International Office. So I just have a quick question about our TESOL course. As Nick mentioned, we have one of the module in TESOL is like practicing and reflecting on the cumulative language teaching. So we do have always have the students inquiry about some practical skills they can learn from TESOL course. Can I have more details about this module? Like what kind of practical skills the students will be learning, or do they have a chance to do any a teaching practice? Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll answer your last question first. They do have opportunities to do teaching practice. It's small scale and informal. It's not formally assessed, but we have introduced this year for MA TESOL programs those opportunities. We also offer to those students the chance to observe language classes so they can learn from professional teachers skills in classroom management and materials delivery. You have in the first semester the chance to take a foreign language, learn a foreign language, and you keep records of your observations of the teaching. In addition, we offer micro teaching, which is small groups teaching with your classmates, your peers. So those are the 3 kinds of practical teaching aspects that we include on that program and on that module.
Thank you, Nick. Any more questions before we close? Oh, we do have a final one. How many years is the International Education MA? Most of our campus-based master's program lasts for 1 year. And then for the distance learning program, it lasts between 2 to 4 years, a minimum of 2 years. And then you can have a maximum of registration period of 4 years. I hope that answers your question. Right, I'm conscious about the time. We hope that we use this opportunity to give you an overview of our School of Education programs. And then obviously you will need time to compare, compare notes, and then to share your thoughts with your friends and with your family members. Should you have any other questions, please feel free to get in touch with the admissions office and with the program leaders from the websites that is actually shared with you over the slides. We'll also send the slides to our marketing team if you want to access that. And thank you very much for attending. And I also want to extend my appreciation to my colleagues today. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for addressing prospective students' questions in the chat area. Thank you everyone for your efforts.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.